In this Elden Ring beginner guide, I'll be showing you how to get started within Elden Ring. Whether you are new to Fromsoftware titles or you're a veteran, these Elden Ring tips will help you within the huge world of Lands Between. Now, starting out with character creation, honestly, I would just pick whatever you want, but I do recommend going with a class that has a shield, as they are extremely helpful, but your class choice will not lock you into a certain playstyle. It only impacts some of your early stats and the gear that you start the game out with. Don't stress too much about this, it's really not that big of a deal. Now you can go through this little tutorial cave here and it will teach you the controls, so if you are new, I highly recommend going down there to get comfortable with the controls, as that's going to be very important. After the tutorial though, you can go ahead and take the elevator, open the door, and your journey officially begins. Now right here we have a Site of Grace, which is basically a checkpoint where you can fast travel, level up, and do a ton of different things. So whenever you see one of these, definitely go ahead and get it, as it's going to save you a lot of time in the vast open world. This will also act as a respawn point for you, so make sure to take advantage of these by resting at them whenever you find them. Because this game is a little bit open world and kind of doesn't have a lot of direction, I'm going to go ahead and give you some steps to go ahead and get you started. So first thing you want to do is head to this church right here. There is both a merchant and a site of grace right next to it, and there's even an anvil that you can upgrade your weapons later down the line. So after getting the grace, you want to go ahead and head into the forest and hug the left side wall. You'll eventually come across another point of grace, and after resting at it, a short cutscene will play, which will then allow you to level up from here on out, and also you will get your horse. While you're over here, you want to go ahead and grab this little thing right here. It's the map fragment, which actually allows you to see stuff on your map. Whenever you don't have this, the map is completely blank, but having it allows you to actually see things on the map. One thing to note here is that some things actually need to be marked by you on the map, so there's not markers for just everything in the game. For example, some dangerous enemies will not be marked on the map, and you'll have to mark them on your own. Now, throughout your exploring, you might find spirit summons, which whenever you see this symbol, you can go ahead and use, and what this does is it essentially allows you to summon companions in order to assist you within combat. They can be upgraded, and there's a lot of different ones that you can choose from, so these are just really useful to have around. Moving on to the combat side of things, we have a new mechanic which is called posture, and we've seen this in Sekiro, but it's basically a hidden bar, and when you attack enemies, you deplete that bar. Hitting them with bigger weapons like great swords will deplete that bar faster. Same with the jumping attacks, heavy attacks, parries, guard counters, which is when you attack right after blocking an attack. When the bar is depleted fully, you'll be able to do a critical attack, dealing a great deal of damage. So try to find ways to weave in attacks that will deplete your enemy's posture to get the upper hand during your fights with both enemies and bosses. Another thing you have is stealth, which means that you can take on enemies one by one, picking them off as you go, rather than just rushing head in and taking on a whole group of enemies. If you play smart, you can actually kill some enemies that have horns that they will use to alert the entire camp that they're being attacked, and if you pick them off, it'll make your life significantly easier. Another new thing is Ashes of War, which are essentially weapon skills. It also dictates what type of element your weapon is as well, and these can be interchanged for certain weapons. There are certain ones that are bound for only one weapon, but you can switch these out as long as it's within the same weapon type. These attacks are extremely powerful, and they can really give a boost to your damage. These can be drops from bosses or just found across the world, so just go ahead and make sure to explore the world, as that'll be how you find these powerful Ashes of War and other things. In the bottom right, you'll see my runes, which is basically souls if you've ever played a Dark Souls game. These are used to level up, buy things. It's basically your currency, and it's really important. A quick note is you do lose these upon death, unless you go ahead and head back to where you died and recover your souls from there. Another important note is if you've ever played a Dark Souls game or you've heard about them, you might have heard about how whenever you die you have to walk a long distance to get back to where you were. Luckily they have fixed this, and there's a new thing called a Stake of Marika. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And basically it is a checkpoint that only acts as a respawn point, and they're often found outside of like boss fights and other important areas or areas that you're probably going to die in. So basically it allows you to get into the action very fast, and you don't have to basically rage quit or get super frustrated. Eventually, when you come across a weapon that you enjoy using and you want to keep using, you'll need to go ahead and upgrade it. To do that, you just need to go to the anvil and upgrade it using these shards. These shards can be found throughout the world through killing enemies and just general exploration. So just go ahead and make sure your weapon's up to date by using these shards whenever you can. Now there is 8 different stats within Elden Ring. There's Vigor, Mind, Endurance, Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane. Vigor is for more health, Mind is for more FP, which is used to do Ashes of War. Then there's Endurance, which increases your stamina. And then there's Strength, which is required to use heavy weapons. It also boosts the attack power of strength scaling weapons. And it also increases your equipment load, which allows you to wear heavier armor. Next up is Dexterity, which increases your attack power with dexterity-based weapons, such as small swords or daggers. Next up is Intelligence, which is required to perform glintstone sorceries. Faith is also basically the same thing, but except it's for incantations, which is another type of magic. And lastly, we have Arcane, which is basically for luck, item discovery, and it also impacts some of your resistances. And that's about all I have for today, but however, there is one last thing. Because this game is open world, if you do get stuck on something, you can go ahead and explore other content and then come back to that whenever you feel ready for it. So do not get stressed out if you are stuck somewhere. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.